And here we go. Captain Matt, Boat Buyer Secret Weapon. Thank you guys for joining us. Brock, good to see you again from Charleston. Carrie, how are you? Long Island. We are live. Go ahead and just put your comments in the box, and I will answer the questions as they come in. Now, if you are considering buying a boat and you haven't yet, this is the Boat Buyer Secret Weapon Toolkit. You can see right here, it's now up to 20 some pages, packed with some great information. The boat selector tool, all of the checklists, the demo checklist. This one is fantastic. Takes you from engine compartment, cold start, at the dock, idling, open water maneuvers, back at the dock inspections, warm start, trade research, boat insurance. It's all in here. You can grab that for free at boatbuyersecretweapon.com/toolkit. So if you are interested, hang on a second. I've got for some reason my Facebook's accounts it's not coming through. So sorry if you're trying to watch this on Facebook. All right. So that is the toolkit. If you haven't grabbed it, do it. I encourage you. It's a free downloadable PDF. There's a couple videos that go along with it. You get the cost of ownership calculator, which is super valuable. And there's 6,000 or more people have downloaded it in the last 2 years. And I've other than somebody complaining that they've got to log in to get it, which I think is too bad about that, but it is very valuable, and I put a lot of effort into it, and it is it's something that I think is worth taking a couple minutes to grab. Scott, thanks for joining us from Connecticut. So let's see, we got our first Carl W. Thinking of buying a Viking 50 for $120,000, financing it's in 1985. Okay, Carl, let me know what your question is specifically. A couple thoughts that I have on it initially is it's going to be difficult, and not difficult. You're going to have to find the right lender that is willing to lend on a boat that's a 1985. You're definitely going to have a survey. The lender is going to want to see a survey. The insurance company is going to want to see a survey. They're going to probably ask for a pretty significant amount down. Is it doable? I mean, you're going to have to put a significant portion down. I don't know anything about your credit. I don't know anything about your financial situation, but they're going to look for, do you have boat ownership history buying a boat that big? So if this is your first boat, it's going to be nearly impossible to get because they're going to want to show that you have the capacity for a recreation loan and that you have a capacity to operate a boat of that size. They're going to ask you, how are you going to use it? Are you going to be a full-time cruiser? Are you going to be a live aboard? Where are you going to keep it? Are you going to just use it as a condo on the water? Those are the types of things that they're going to look for. And then being in 1985, that boat is what, 10, 20, 30 plus years old. So you're going to have the survey is going to have to come back real clean. You're going to have to put back a big chunk down for sure. So, and is it doable? There's just, Carl, just too many specifics that I don't know, but you're going to want to go to a marine lender, specifically somebody that specializes in aged boats. And hopefully everything else is rock solid. You may want to look at home equity, tapping into the equity if you've got that available, and alternative methods. And then just as a as a tip to you buying a boat of that vintage, make sure that you go through it with a fine tooth comb yourself. Make sure that you get a good surveyor, and make sure that you're on the sea trial, and you go through the whole system with it. And if you've never owned a boat before, um, it, you have to think about, why do you want to buy that boat? Is that the right boat for you? What do you think about Crest pontoons? David, if you watch my video, um, let's go to YouTube. If you go to, a matter of fact, I think I even did a Fire Secret Weapon Crest. Have I done a Crest review? Have not. Go to the best and worst pontoons. Um, Best and worst, and I talk about Crest there. There you go. This video right here is the one that you're going to want to check out. And here's, I'll give you just a quick summary version, but this video will go into details. It starts off, it looks like this right here. And I actually go through. Crest is a higher end. Matter of fact, let's see here. Goes through the construction of a pontoon, the brands, where they rank, who owns them, and you'll see Crest is in the luxury brand, kind of down towards the bottom in the luxury brand. So they are high quality. They are now owned by why is it escaping me right now? Crest is owned by Mastercraft. That's right. So Mastercraft bought them several years ago. No, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now. And so, good quality parent company getting into the pontoon business. They don't really add a lot of value in the boat building because they're two completely separate boats. Mastercraft has Bryant on the stern drive side, Mastercraft obviously, and then and Crest on the pontoon side. So they're a good boat, but again, as I always say, it's about the dealer. The dealer is what really matters once you're in a certain category. So go watch this video. I think you'll get a lot of value out of that. Brock, you canceled your Sportsman order. I remember you mentioned that last week or 2 weeks ago. Bought the used 247, 30K off the new one, loaded 125 hours. That's awesome, man. That sounds like that worked out really, really well for you. I am personally, I am a big fan of buying a pre-owned boat that's 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. I know you don't get the warranty, but you do get a significant amount of savings, which means if something happens that, you've got a chunk of change that if you set it aside, and something will probably happen, but if you do a good job, on inspecting it, and I've got a video, how to buy a used pontoon. If you go through, you use the toolkit, you use that you can get for free. You watch my videos, you check out the First Time Boat Buyer Academy. If you want to get even more confidence in your buying, and you're going to be able to find something that is a great value. Somebody else has taken a lot of depreciation now in the last 2 years. Pricing, depreciation, all wacky, but in general, buying that boat that's, that 2019 is 3 years old. The 2022s are coming out, have been on the market since August. And, like I said, you save 30 grand off a new one. It's loaded. It's got 125 hours. It's already gone through the shakedown period. So if something was going to break, it's probably already broken and has been addressed in the warranty. So you're looking at a boat and you can see, okay, this is a little shaky, and exactly what you've got. Now you just got to make sure they didn't do anything really dumb with it. And that you're okay having a partial warranty or a limited warranty. So that's awesome, Brock. Congratulations on that, and thanks for joining us again, Carl. You're welcome. I've also, Carl, I've done a video on financing, so you might want to check that out. Let's see here if I can find that boat loan. Yeah, so I've got two. This is a newer version. This is the first one. It's essentially the same information. I just sort of updated it, so you can get a little bit better idea on that. David, you are welcome. Let's see here, Justin. First time here. Where can I find a used pontoon boat? How should I start looking? So first thing, Justin, that you need to do is you need to watch the video, use pontoon. And this one right here, how to buy a used pontoon without getting ripped off. That's the first thing you want to do. You're in Toronto, so you're up north. I would be doing my research now while your water is frozen up there. If everything's frozen out yet, probably I would guess it probably is, depending on in that area. Watch all of the pontoon videos. Definitely this one. It's a 30-minute, 45-minute video. You can watch some of the best and the worst will give you an idea of what the brands are right now. How to inspect a pontoon and demo is very good. And then I just did one. You're not saltwater. Check out this pontoon playlist as well. I think that's going to be really valuable for you, Justin. And then here's the thing. A couple of things that you need to think about. How and we talk about it in the toolkit. We talk about it in the First Time Boat Buyer Academy, which is the paid program. But how are we going to use it? Where are we going to use it? What kind of horsepower do I need? Do I need a pontoon or a tri-toon? And I walk through all of that in these videos. So you may not know right now, but if you watch those videos, you're going to get a really good sense. Come back and join some of these lives over the next few weeks. Like Brock has been on. I think this is probably the fourth or maybe even fifth week I've seen Brock on. Michael Limpeski, he's been in the comments. I know he's watching the videos, and so this is sort of a little community that you can come back to over and over and over, and get value. Certainly, if you invest in the First Time Boat Buyer Academy, which is like $77. I had 4 people bought it this weekend, invest in it this weekend. And if you email me, then I'll respond to you directly via email, and definitely will field your questions here on these lives. But just think about those things. What is the 80% that we're going to do on the water? What kind of horsepower do we need? Do we need a pontoon or tri-toon? Where are we going to store it? And those things will help you start going down the right path. And then your budget matters, and that's where this video, the best and worst, is helpful. So there you go. You're welcome, Justin. You're very welcome. All that was Michael. That was just a total guess. As you know, last week we had some comments that jumped in that were just ridiculous. Some, troll going out there and writing some crazy stuff. I just pop things up and read them. So, Limpicky. So anyway, so sorry for you guys in Canada. 2 weeks of boating in a year doesn't sound like fun to me. Hey, but here's the thing: up in Canada, and Justin, you can maybe attest to this a little bit. I hear it's beautiful up there in the 2.5, 3 months that they are on the water. Some of the water up there is just gorgeous, and my gut tells me that the water is probably chilly a lot of times, but I do hear it's very, very pretty. So, all right, so let's see. Here we go. Keep throwing your comments in. As the comments come in, I'll continue responding to them. Just as a a fair warning. I've been drinking today. I had my mom's in town from Nebraska, so I had a bunch of old friends come over, a bunch of neighbors come over, and started having some beers. So if we get a lull, I'm probably gonna end things early. So I'll be glad to stay on. I'm not drunk by any means, but I've had 4 or 5 beers and jumping on with you guys. So all right, thinking of my first boat, confused. I'll be freshwater fishing most of the time. I really enjoy saltwater. Any advice? So no, no. Here's my advice for somebody in your situation is you've got to buy the boat for the 80%, what you're going to do most of the time. And then what you want to do is you want to figure out, can I do my 80% really well and still do the 20%? So I'm going to, and those are just kind of like majority minority kind of numbers, but so it's, if you're going to go, hey, I'm doing freshwater fishing. What type of, are you bass fishing or are you walleye and pike fishing? So do you need shallow, shallow draft, easy access to the water? You're going to be, getting up in the stumps and the weeds, going after bass and that kind of thing, or are you going after big fish and big water, colder times, maybe some rougher chop, maybe some rain, and you want a deeper boat that's going to allow you to be a little bit safer? And now you say, okay, how often am I going to do that? Who's going to be with me? And then you say, okay, I really like that, but I also want to do some saltwater fishing. Can I maybe do a hybrid center console? Uh, can I do something like that that's going to allow me to do the freshwater fishing really well? Because that's what I'm going to do most of the time. But I'm going to easily be able to jump over and do some saltwater versus going with an aluminum fishing boat, like a Lund or a Lowe or a Polar Craft or something like that. And now, all right, I'm not so crazy about putting that in salt water all the time. I'm not really crazy because I want something a little bit heavier. I don't want to have to worry about the corrosion and the salt and the cleaning and all that getting in the cracks and crevices and potential rust that can come with that. So you've got to figure out for you, and it's different for you than the other guy that wants to do this because you have different goals. You're going out with different people, and then think about, what all do I need? Check out let me see here. First time boat buyer. There's this first time boat buyer playlist that you can watch. And there's an aluminum fishing boat playlist and a center console playlist. So you can watch those, and there's going to be a lot of videos for you, no, that I think will be helpful. So hopefully that is um, hopefully that's valuable for you. Thinking of using as a liveaboard. Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you, Carl. They don't want you to be a liveaboard. That may be what you're thinking. Tell them that you're going to be either a full-time cruiser or that this is just going to be a boat. Okay. As soon as they hear live aboard, here's what the lenders and the insurance company thinks is, this is a boat that they're gonna live on. It's never gonna leave the dock, which means that they're gonna defer maintenance on the engine and some of the systems. And at some point, something's gonna fail and the boat's gonna sink, and we've got a disaster on our hand. They're not gonna pay it off, and the insurance company doesn't want to write insurance on it. So the lender's going to be stuck. The insurance company is going to have a hassle of trying to get out of paying the claim. Broker dealing with the owner, very nice. They're selling it due to sick wife. Okay, so get financing and insurance are the two most important things, and don't skip the insurance because you're getting a great deal, and you've got a 50-foot boat for 120 grand, Carl. If you can't get that insured, one, you're not going to get any loan on it. And two is, if that baby goes down, not only do you lose $120,000 worth of value, but now you've also got to clean up the environmental spill and get that boat hauled out. And now that's going to be another 30 grand, depending on where you are. And I think you said you were in Long Island. Is that right? Yeah, Long Island. Um, so now you got a disaster on your hands personally uh, for your personal finances. So look at those two things in detail. Get the whole identification number for the boat, get all the details on the boat, and start calling around. And I don't have anybody to recommend for you on the financing. I think that's going to be very difficult, but don't forget the insurance, because that's going to be something else that's going to be difficult with the boat that age, with the boat that size, especially if you're a first time boat buyer, first time boat owner that doesn't have a history of running boats, doesn't have a history of recreational loans. Those are two things that could catch you. Yeah, the financing is always going to get you. Which boat would you rather buy with your own money? Sea-Doo Switch, Yamaha AR, hands down right now. Alexavier Morales. Here is, and I've said this in several videos, is I am opposed to, and I would recommend this to people. I am opposed to buying the first generation of any product in the marine industry. Um, Here's why. The switches, they're sold out for 2021, right? Well, they haven't built but a handful of them. The ones that they built, they've given to people that for demo boats that aren't using it like normal boaters in most situations. So, hey, here's one, and we're going to take it out and we're going to do demos with clients and see how they like it. Here's one, and I want you to go out and give it to the Florida rider, the what is it, Florida jet riders or something like that. Here's a boat, go out and run it, and they run it for a day with the family, but they're running it to shoot a video. They're not putting it through all the different situations. And so now they've got 10 boats on the market that have been run for maybe, let's say, 50 hours, 100 hours each. They just haven't been through all of the situations that they're going to come across. And what's going to happen is in the first year, customer boats are going to break. There's going to be things that they didn't think about. Oh, when you put the anchor out, this doesn't work right. Oh, when you are actually in rough water and you've got 8 people on the boat and a full cooler and you've got your gear, the characteristics are different than we thought it would be, or it's not as convenient to get to this area. And the next year, 2022, 2023, they're going to fix those things and make it better. I don't think the switch is there. I've not run it yet. I was at the International Boat Builders Expo a couple months ago down in Tampa, and the writer for Scuttlebutt magazine and the writer for Boating Industry, or not Boating Industry, Boating Magazine, were in the press room with me as we were having lunch and getting ready for an event. I was invited to the press room with like the big names and soundings and, Scuttlebutt, the Great Lakes, boating. There were all sorts of, and then me, Boat Buyer Secret Weapon guy, which was funny to me. But they're like, hey, we really liked it. But they went out on it for 30 minutes, which is more than I have. So, but here's the other thing is they're getting big advertising dollars from Sea-Doo to advertise in these magazines, and that has an impact on their opinion and what they write about it. So for me, I'm personally going to take the Yamaha every day. I sold Yamaha for several years. I know they're rock solid boats. I know that AR, the 190 AR, the 210 AR, I know those are rock solid boats. They're mid tier. Don't get me wrong. They're not premium level boats. They're mid tier. And I think Michael can speak to this, because I believe, if I remember right, Michael, that's what you have. Um, and it's just one of those things where I would stay away from the first generation. It's too many unknowns that the boat hasn't been through yet. So, yeah, okay, there you go. Michael's got a SX 195. Do it again in a heartbeat. Friends with BRPs, nothing but issues. Yeah, the Rotax engines. Here's the way. And if you go watch, let's see, jet boats. This video here, all about jet boats. If you go watch that, Alexavier, I think that will give you my opinion on Yamaha versus the BRP products, the Scarab, and the Vortex, is what I talked about in that. But the Switch, it falls into the category of, hey, there's not as many of them out there. It's a first generation product. I want another year or two on it before I really start to look at it. And there's a few things about it that the way it's built, the way the steering is set up, I want to personally run it before I really bash on it or I really promote it. So same thing I did with the hydrofin. I had people ask me about the hydrofin, and I said, hey, I haven't run it. It seems interesting, but until I get on it and run it, I can't give an honest evaluation. I can with brands of boats because I've run so many different brands and I know kind of what to look for when I inspect it. But if I don't lay my eyes on something and have a pretty good feel for it, I try to give my opinion, but let it know, hey, this is opinion, not based on personal experience. So, all right. So hopefully that answers that question. Felix ordered a Sun Tracker Sport Fish with the 200. Congratulations. I've had a lot of people on the comments and people that have been got my first time boat buyer academy that picked up the toolkit have emailed me and said I bought a Sun Tracker. A lot of people will say, hey, that's a terrible decision. It is. Listen, you can get a great boat. It's not, it's going to have some little ticky tacky things that come up, but it is a tremendous value, in my opinion, that that Sun Trackers put out there. A Tritoon with a 200, for 50 some grand with a trailer is you can't get close to that with even some of the other entry level models. It has to do with their scale, has to do with the number of motors they're buying, the amount of aluminum that they're buying for all of the White River brands. So that's I think that's a boat that a lot of people can enjoy as long as they go into it with their eyes open of exactly what they're getting. Okay. No, you're very welcome. Carl, you're welcome. Um, heard about that. Yeah, yeah. The boat sinking at the dock. It's an insurance company and a lender's nightmare because nobody wants to keep paying for. I have experience with boats, just not owning. So you wanna talk to the lender, and I would probably go to maybe check with some brokers, maybe talk to the broker that you're working through on this boat, and see if they have a lender that they would recommend, and just have a conversation with the finance company. And see if you can find one. I'm gonna give a Linda Kempinen from she's a lady I know. Let's see. Kemp Boat Loans. Let me see where she's at. Um, she's the vice president, regional intercoastal financial. So this intercoastal financial group, Linda, I sent a lot of my bigger boat business to her when I was selling. I saw her down at the Charleston Boat Show last year, talked to her for a good while, very experienced, knowledgeable, and that may be a place to start if your broker doesn't have somebody. Back to the Crest, 150 enough for tubing water skiing. Absolutely. It's I would put it on a Tritoon. David, there's some other questions that you want to think about. And let's see here. Tritoon. Okay, so it is a Tritoon. This video here might be a good video to watch. Where is it? How fast are pontoons? Here I can slot. I'm 6'2", 220, 225, and I can slalom, or I have slalom skied behind a 22-foot South Bay Tritoon with a 150 with my dad, my mom, my wife, and my two kids in a cooler. My dad's over 300 pounds. My wife is almost 6 feet tall. And we pack a pretty good sized cooler usually. And I slalom skied behind that easily. So tubing, water sports, you're going to be fine. Get the ski tow bar if you're ordering new. You'll be glad you did. Get the best ski tow bar that they have. I like the in-floor ski locker because otherwise, if you are skiing or wakeboarding, you're going to have skis sliding all down that deck because it's just one flat surface. So I really like having that in-floor ski locker if you're ordering. I think it's expensive. It's like 3 or 4 grand, but I think it's worth it to have that extra storage if you're going to be doing water sports for sure. All right. So Tritune 22 foot. Yeah. So everything I just said, um, everything that I just said, David, I think says you're right on the right track. Now, what I will say, I'll add this, and I talk about this in How Fast Are Pontoons. If you're going to put 8 200-pound people on that boat, and then you want to pull a 200-pound guy on a slalom ski, that's not going to work. Now you need to move up to the 200 or 250. But just, 5, 6 normal size people, and you've got some younger kids back there, adults that aren't, 225. I'm not on the small side. So, the 150 will be good until you start putting a lot more weight on the boat, because that weight makes a big difference in the performance. So, okay. What do you think? Honda 150 outboard for my old Prince Craft. Yeah, CS Chen, it could be fine. It depends on what you want to do with it. It's a 16-foot boat, probably an 8-foot beam. That 50 horsepower is gonna, with 3 people on board and half a tank of fuel, is gonna give you 20 miles an hour probably. And that's what you're gonna get. It's not very fast, but if you don't need it, it's a 16-foot boat. You're probably not on a big body of water. And so you probably don't need that much speed, but it comes down to, what are you going to do on the boat, and who's going to be on the boat with you. CS, this video, How Fast Are Pontoons, and go through my whole pontoon playlist, and you're going to find a lot of videos there that I think will be valuable for you. That one's probably the best for you two guys asking the questions that you just did. So, okay, good. So yeah, Linda's been in the industry for, shoot, it was 10 years ago that I first met her, and she had been in the business for a while at that point. So, um, um, yeah, so hopefully that connection will start. She might not have a plan that works for you, but my gut tells me if there's somebody that would write that loan, they're going to probably want 20% down at least. If there's somebody that would write that loan, she would know about it. Ski locker, good. So David, congratulations on ordering your boat. And for sure those 2 options I think are good, solid options when you're doing the water sports. And I think Crest probably comes with a canvas cover standard, so that's good. So congratulations on that. All right. We got a flurry. If I missed somebody, there was kind of a flurry that came in. Let me know. Just put it in again. I'm going to go back through and see if I missed anybody. If I did, just type it back in, and I would be happy to get to you. Okay, I think we're doing good. All right. Oh, okay. Perfect. So go ahead and throw any more comments in if you've got them. Be happy to get to them. Like I said, my mom's in from out of town, and so I will cut this one short if we don't have any other questions come in. Otherwise, I'll gladly stay the hour if we've got good questions coming in. Remember, if you're looking at buying a boat, and you really want some extra support, I do this just for everybody, because I want people to buy the right boat. If you want some more kind of in-depth information. This First Time Boat Buyer Academy, I go through the 7 savvy steps that are kind of laid out in the toolkit, but I go through it step by step for new boats, for used boats, for pontoons, for center consoles, for bow riders, for cruisers, aluminum fishing boats, how to negotiate to make sure you get the best price. And that's all in there. It's $77. The negotiation piece. I remember I sold boats for over 5 years, and I've been working with dealers and brokers and manufacturers for the last, I was involved obviously when I was selling them, have continued on in the industry. There's some pretty simple ways that have been effective for people that's included, and that will more than pay for the investment of that $77. If you are like David, when you get your Crest pontoon, oh, and there's the money back guarantee. That's something that come on all my programs. The best pontoon captain on the lake and the best boat captain on the water are this one's for pontoons, freshwater and saltwater, really. And then this one is stern drive V hulls and even outboard V hulls. I've got a twin engine one coming that will be coming soon. That if you're new to boating and you want to make sure that you're safe, you have total control of the boat, so you're not nervous, you're not scared, you're not bumping into things, you're not dinging up your new boat or your new to you boat. Those programs, $47 for those are going to go from never operated a boat to having total control in a very short period of time. So you can check those out. Winter Haven, Florida. Okay, so yeah, I would think Felix was the one asking about freshwater, saltwater fishing. I would think maybe something in the hybrid or even the true bay boat setup might be something that would do the trick for you, as long as you're not looking to go super offshore in that area. I think you're probably gonna be okay with a hybrid. I think that would probably give you a decent amount of flexibility to do both of the things that you want to do. Maybe with that T-top and give you a little bit of shade down there in Florida, but still have good casting ability. Something that has a pretty flat deck up in the bow. So if you are going to do some bass fishing, you can get into fairly shallow water. And again, then it just comes down to the species that you're fishing, what you're going to enjoy most. And, you'll be able to get a sense for the boats of what's going to get in where and how you can accomplish both with one boat, knowing that there's going to be some compromise when you do that. So, Michael, just ultras, Mick ultras, and probably that was about it. I almost got into the Crown, but I had some buddies that when I was in my heyday, when I was early 20s and single, my buddies came out, and then some neighbors. So it was, but I kept it under control. Just stuck to the Mick ultras. All right. What else we got coming in from Virginia? Clayton, welcome. If you got any questions, throw it in. Otherwise, we're going to cut this one off here soon. Excuse me. Hang on a second. I don't know what's in the air. I think I'm allergic to dairy. It gets me all stuffed up and sneezing. I may have ate something accidentally that I shouldn't have. So, all right. So I did my commercials for any of my programs. If you're interested in that, they are. I don't know if it was organic, just whatever the 24 pack was. They were selling at the Harris Teeter, which is our grocery store here. All right, missed some questions. Bless you. Thank you. Let's see this one. Why were boat floors made so much worse? So it was. I'm gonna give them the benefit of they didn't know any better, or they didn't have the manufacturing processes. So pre 2000, they were just putting plywood floors down. Well, let's say 80s, they were putting plywood floors down. Then they found marine grade ply or treated plywood. That was a little bit better. Then they met marine grade plywood, which is so treated plywood is you put the plywood together and you treat it in whatever they treat it. Turns it kind of that green color, right? Then they said, well, that's still rotting. As soon as you drill into it, now the interior of that wood is not treated. So now they said, all right, before we ply it, before we ply our plywood, we're going to treat each individual ply. And now when we do seven layer marine grade plywood, each layer has been treated. So when they glue it together, now even if you drill through it, it's still treated and it's less likely. So that's what they started doing in 2000. And then they said, hey, you know what's even better than that is if we encapsulate any wood in fiberglass and resin and gel coat. And so now, if it's fully enclosed in resin and it's in the stringer system and it's on the subfloor, as long as we don't drill into that, then we're less likely to have rot. And oh, what if we can build it in a way that if we do have to drill into something, we seal it. And so that's why in about 2000, and like a premium manufacturer like Sea Ray, Cobalt, they did it a little bit earlier. A more value brand like, let's say, Bayliner, they did it a little bit later. So I say 2000 is sort of that era when it started to tilt. And now, now you're going to find they're starting to use composites and saying, hey, instead of using wood at all, we're going to go with the wood-free boat and we're going to use composites, which means all composite means is two different materials. So, technically wood and fiberglass is a composite, right? But now they're using, some Kusa board, styrofoam, different types of styrofoam, and they're getting more innovative with the materials that they use. And the good thing is, they continue moving to better and better and better products and materials and procedures. So that's where that 2000 comes in. Barletta. So Clayton. I love Barletta. I think Barletta makes the best pontoon on the market right now. When you're looking at their top level, their production, and you can watch this video. Are they worth it? Their L series is probably the most expensive when you compare boat to boat. I've had dealers that I know and that I think are good, honest people have said, hey, we're really not that much more, or we're not more expensive than Bennington's and Harris and Crest and Premier and all those other guys. But I'll tell you that they are built the best. I don't think it matters that you're a first-time pontoon owner. I think it matters I asked the question in the First-Time Boat Buyer Academy. We talk about, what car do you drive? If you drive a Mercedes, a BMW, you've got an F-150, but it's the Platinum Series. If that's you, and every year, every 2 years, every 3 years, I'm getting the newest and the best, then Barletta is absolutely for you. Hands down, you're going to love it, because I think, the best built boat, and as of right now, in my mind, the best customer service. I've met Bill. I say Bill Finch, but Bill Fennick, I guess, is the right way to say it. I've met Bill. I've met Jeff, their VP of sales, and they're customer service focused. They take care of their clients. Now that they've been bought by Winnebago, I hope that continues. But I like the way they run the company. I like the way they approach it. They're keeping in that premium level. So if you're a premium person, then you're going to be happy with Barletta, with one caveat: who's the dealer? Because the dealer is your point of interaction. Barletta does a great job. If the dealer drops the ball, Barletta has a history of stepping in and making sure that the end owner is happy and has a great experience. It's one of the reasons why I really like them. Now, if the Barletta dealer isn't up to, you don't hit it off, you don't connect with them, they're too far away, then I would say, hey, find the dealer in your local market area that you're going to work best with, and get a Bennington, get a Harris, get a Crest or a Premier, or one of those other top tier Manitou, those top tier manufacturers that I talk about in this video right here, the best and the worst pontoons. um, find that top tier and then find the dealer that you like the best. But that's sort of my opinion. Yes, the Mick Ultras, you're welcome. Thinking about buying a new boat. What do you think about the Let's Go Brandon? See, listen, you guys can't do this to me, Jim. I know, Jim. I think I've seen your comments in the thread before. It may have been a "Let's Go Brandon" comment. There's been one of them, but I put them up and then I start reading. And when you guys started off with something boating, and then you sneak in something about something ridiculous, I uh I just read it. So you don't catch me until I see something. I'm like, what the hell? So, and plus, after having a few beers today, I'm not. My mind is a little bit slow. Um, Clayton, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Hey, just out of curiosity, Clayton, where are you? Did you tell me where you were? Virginia. Okay. I don't know. I know a couple of Barletta dealers. I don't know the Barletta dealer in Virginia, or I don't know any of the Barletta dealers in Virginia. So, but the one thing that I do know, when Barletta was setting up, I mean, shoot, they've only been putting boats out for 4 years, maybe. And I rode on their one of their very first production models in their first year. So not with their first production, but their first year of boats. So like I said, I don't like the first generation of anything in the boat business. I'm not a big fan of the first generation in technology either. When my Apple iPhone says update, I wait a week and then I update, thinking that, hey, there's bugs in this update. I'm gonna let other people figure the bugs out, and then I'll do the upgrade. It's just my logic tells me, if there's bugs in it, let other people deal with that, and I'll take it when it's less buggy, even if I don't have the most up to date. But where I'm going with that is, Barletta did a great job when they were setting up dealers. Is they went to the best dealers in their market, and they didn't just say who needs a pontoon line. They said, who is the best dealer in that market. And even if they have other pontoon lines, we're going to try to go in because we know we're building a superior boat. And we think that if we match up with the best dealers, that we're going to have a great success. So they went after a lot of Nautique dealers, because they said Nautique's a premium level product. They have to give great service. If you're buying a 25-foot wake boat for 200 grand, you better give great service. Otherwise, you're not going to do well. If they offer other pontoon lines, but we know their top-notch service in that market area, we're going to go in with our brand, knowing that we're going to take a portion of their business that they were selling Premiers, and we're going to put them in a Barletta because we know we're better. So I think that most of their, but not all of their dealers are really good. It's tough to make everybody a good dealer in your network when you just need to get market coverage in addition to matching your culture. So, all right, so we're coming up on 50 minutes here. We still got 18 people on the line. So one last round of questions. So go ahead and throw in your flurry of questions. I'll see if I missed anybody, but I think we're good. Winter Haven, Felix, we got taken care of. Clayton, we got taken care of. Toyota, Toyota 78RN, that may have just been a sheer curiosity question, but if you have more questions that were, there, and just like that, there it is. Are stern drives a dying breed due to the level of performance horsepower that modern outboards can produce? So here's my belief, and I've done a video, Rob. I've done a video, problem with outboards, Problem with new boats, problem with stern drives. Um, Here's my take on stern drives. I think there's always going to be a market for stern drives because I think in freshwater lakes, in bow riders, even though they've been just market share has gone down from it used to be, they built 50, 60, 70,000 stern drive bow riders a year. That's been going down, down, down because pontoons, bigger horsepower. Instead of buying a 18-foot bow rider, I can buy a 22-foot tri-tune with the 150, same price, similar performance, more room. So pontoons have been going up. Wake boats, surfing, wakeboarding popularity has gone up. So they're cannibalizing, and even the center consoles, some of the center consoles and just the outboards on a fiberglass bow rider deck boats are taking some market share. So the stern drives are going down, down, down. They're still building, let's say, call it 10,000 stern drives a year. Most of those are single engine bow riders. Um, I think there's always going to be that market because one of the best things about a stern drive is easy access to the water. Most stern drives on a lake are going to be trailered boats, are on a lift at a on a lake somewhere. And in that case, one, I'm not as worried about the bellows, right? But the performance, yeah, I've got to have more horsepower. It's going to be more weight, but I can put the 250 horsepower in my 20-foot bow rider, and I'm gonna be good. I can do everything that I want to do, and I have easy access to the water. So when I'm at the sandbar, when I'm floating around on the anchor, I've got that's where everybody moves. I don't know, Toyota, if you're a lake boater or not, but I grew up lake boating, and here's what we did: whether we were at a small lake or the Lake of the Ozarks, where there's no beaches, you just anchor out. Is you get to where you're going. If you're on the river or you're a smaller lake with the sandbar, or where you just pull it up on shore, you get where you're going, everybody moves to the back of the boat. So then they sit on the sun deck or the swim platform, or they're just standing in the water or floating in the water behind the boat. It's why all the stereo controls are at the back of the boat now, is because that's where everybody moves when you get where you're going. If you're at the Lake of the Ozarks or a deeper lake and you're sitting on anchor, boom, Tennessee. Okay, so um, yeah, so I boat on Lake Loudon, Tellico in right outside Knoxville, and it's the same thing. When we're there, we're on a Cobalt, and it's got a stern drive, and it's got easy access to the water. It's got the flip down swim platform, and throughout the anchor, everybody jumps in the water or sits on the back deck. It's got a nice little sun lounge kind of seat recliner there, and then you've got the swim platform, and then you got the swim step that flips in there, and it's awesome. That is, to me, I'll take the power to weight ratio, I'll take the bellows, I'll take the extra maintenance, I'll take the winterization, especially with the Volvo closed cooling system now. That's even easier and less of a hassle, less costly. That's always going to be a part of it. Even though the pontoons, I think, will continue to cannibalize it, but I still think there's 5,000-10,000 boats a year that will be built that way with those engines, and it's totally my guess. It's my prediction, and but that's why I base it off of. So yeah, you're a lake guy, so you get it. But man, it's hard to deny, especially in Tennessee, depending on where you are in Tennessee. As you get colder and colder in the climate, man, it is nice to have that outboard that I just tilt it down, the water drains out, I don't have to worry about freeze damage. And even the new Volvos, you have to turn some knobs and you have to unplug the drains and things like that. It's way easier than it used to be 10 years ago, but you still got to do more than just tilting down. So outboards, I think, are going to continue to cannibalize a little bit, but I think there's always going to be a place for stern drives. My wife and kids are asking about bathroom options for a pontoon. Any advice? Okay, so I got in trouble for this a couple weeks ago. I sent out a newsletter to every if you request the toolkit, which is free. You get a ton of value for free. And I'll send a newsletter every 2 weeks. I showed one of my wife going, if and Clayton, you may know this, you may not yet, but when you're a boater and you got to pee and you're my wife, you go down 2 steps on the ladder, you dip your butt in the water and you pee, you shimmy off and you rinse, and then you come back up and you dry off with a towel. That's the reality of boating for most people. They think, gotta have it. Where am I going to go to the bathroom? What's going to happen if we have an emergency? I've got little kids. They're going to, if they got to poop, they got to poop. Here's what will happen. 90% of the people that think they have to have a bathroom will use it the first couple of times out, and then they'll realize, and I don't know, Clayton, I don't know where in Virginia you are. Let's say you're Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia. There's always a bathroom. Not always. There's usually a bathroom within 10, 15 minutes of where you are that you can cruise to if you have a real bad emergency and you can make it. That's 90% of the people. They use it a handful of times. They realize it's disgusting to clean it. It's a pain in the butt, and they really don't use it as often as they thought they would. Now, there's 10% of the people that say, I would never have a boat without one. They use it all the time, and that's just, they love it. They absolutely love it. So you've got to figure out which of those camps your wife and your kids are in. My wife, she didn't grow up boating. Matter of fact, I took her to the Lake of the Ozarks on a vacation when we were 6 months in or so, because I was like, hey, this girl's awesome, but if she can't hang at the lake, then we're not going to last. Fortunately, she came in, had a great time. She peed off the ladder and let me take pictures. Not let me take pictures. I took the picture and she got mad at me, and then got more mad when I put it in the newsletter. But she's cool with it. I've got a 7 and a 10-year-old. They're fine with it. We know we don't poop in the water. If you got to go, let me know. We'll get to a bathroom somewhere, and we'll be good. But so that's the conversation that you need to have with your wife. And but you can put a porta potty. As a matter of fact, Barletta, most manufacturers have a compartment where they'll lift it up. There's a curtain that comes down, and you can set a porta potty in there, use it, stow it away, maybe dump the tray, and then rinse it with water or whatever, stow it away, close it all up, and it's out of the way. But again, most people that do that option, and it's, $200 for the changing room curtain and that thing, and another $200 for a porta potty. So $400 and you're in. But my gut tells me, or my experience tells me, 90% of the people will use it a handful of times and then never use it again, and get rid of it. All right. Predict that family boaters that have been buying stern drives will be converted to jet boats and outboards in the next couple of years. Yeah, I didn't even mention that, Michael. You're exactly right. The jet boats have also gone up. There's 6,000 to 10,000 jet boats built per year now, with Yamaha building a majority of them. And then the BRP engine Rotax with Vortex and Scarab in the fiberglass jet boats, not the going on the river aluminum jet boats. But so those have cannibalized as well. But I still think that the stern drive has some advantages that that's always going to be part in the market. Small world, but at Teleco too. So we're on Loudon there. My in-laws lake place is on Loudon. But we are not too far from Calhoun's restaurant, right there at the bridge that cuts through into Teleco, right by the lock. So that's where we'll usually run up past Calhoun's at that marina, gas up, and then we'll head over to Teleco and just hang out in a cove somewhere there. Yeah. And for some people, toilet seat in a 5-gallon bucket, plastic bag inside to, hold it and then dump it. That's really common on center consoles. It works anywhere that you've got a storage spot for a 5-gallon bucket. That works as well. So thank you for that, David, for sure. All right. Found a boat for sale with twin 2000 Mercury EFI offshore 150s. comments on the late 90s, early 2000 Mercury EFI, comments on the Ox Yamaha saltwater. No, I don't. Eric, I I wish I had more mechanical knowledge and experience. When I do my videos that get into a little bit more technical things, like if you read the comments in this problem with outboards, I get called, "Don't listen to this idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about." It is. I am not a. I don't turn wrenches for a living. I've never been a technician. You know, I can do some work on a boat, but it's minimal. It's not my specialty. There is a guy that has a channel, and his name is, oh, hang on a second. I might have it on my board. Crap, I don't. Oh, Speed Money No Breaks, something like that. Is that's his sign off, but he has a channel where he does reviews of, let me see if I can find him. He does reviews of bass boats, aluminum fishing boats, and outboard motors. And he'll do, like, if you, Eric, if you type in like Yamaha versus Mercury, and he's a Suzuki technician. He's got a dealership in Ohio, Wisconsin is where he's at. But I wish I could remember the name of his channel. I invited him to be interviewed on a program I put together, and he wasn't able to put it. Let's see here. He wasn't able to schedule it in, but anyway, if you Google, or if you're on YouTube and you do a comparison of Suzuki versus Yamaha, or Suzuki versus Mercury, or even Mercury versus these. He might have done a video specifically on that. He's got a big personality, a loud personality, but he knows his stuff. So I don't know him personally. I've emailed back and forth with him. He seems to really have a good handle. He is a Suzuki technician. He sells loose Suzuki motors, but he doesn't seem to be too biased. He seems to just give good, honest information, and I would check that out for sure. I had a Ranger 200 Merc. That boat ran for 2,000 hours. Any major maintenance? Awesome. So that's one data point. 2000. Okay, so 2001. I assume the Merc was a 2001. That's in that same vintage. The oil injector, yeah, is what ended up compromising one of the cylinders. Always pre-mixed now at my two strokes. That's one of the biggest things in that vintage, Eric, is the oil injectors were pretty new, and so a lot of them have overridden the oil injection system and gone with the premix, so it's not as precise, but it is reliable. You know, it's always getting oil, versus what happens. And I think what Brock is talking about is the oil injector stopped working, and you don't know it because you're running and it's just got a reservoir of oil that it's putting in based on the throttle. It's putting in the right level of oil to gas, to mix it. And when the injector goes out, there's no warning until it's not getting enough oil, and it has, overheats essentially, or yeah, I guess overheating would be the right word. The friction adds up because you don't have that oil in there. Again, this is why I said I'm not a technician, and when I do my more technical videos, I've got to do some research, and I've got to write it down, and I've got to talk to the techs that I know to try to get things as accurate as they run lean. There you go. That's what they run lean. They don't have the oil into the mixture. But anyway, as you can see, I've got my limitations, and I do my best. Sometimes I get a little bit out of my depth, but I do my best to try to only give information that I really think is 100% accurate. And if it's an opinion, I try to let that be known. But anyway, I think you'll be able to find the guy pretty easy. He's got his channel is decent size, and I think if you Google, you'll be able to find him. And I know I can't think of why I can't come up with it. But anyway, so I'm looking through my list of people. I haven't watched one of his videos for a little while, so I don't know where he's going to come up. All right. Anyway, so we're over an hour now. Guys, thank you for showing up. Brock, thanks for participating. Congratulations on your sportsman. David, good luck on getting your crest. I think you were the crest guy coming in. Clayton, hopefully that was valuable for you. The little bit on Barletta and Toyota. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for popping in, and all you guys. I appreciate it. It makes it fun when we get some no. Thank you for you stopping by, Michael. Appreciate it, and putting your input. And I love when we get Felix as well. Congratulations on your Sun Tracker. I love when we get the people on the channel participating and adding their experience and their thoughts, because I've said this multiple times on these calls, is I have a ton of boating experience. I've been boating since I was 5, sold boats for 5 years. I'm fortunate to be 3 hours from the coast, and the dealership I dealt with when I worked had 3 coastal stores and 3 inland stores. And so I've got access to experiences that a lot of people don't. And yet I don't have anywhere close to all the boating experiences in the world. And there's some areas where I don't have the expertise to even share an opinion, like with that Mercury Yamaha question. And so I appreciate people that do have other experiences than me participating and sharing their thoughts and their real world experience and sharing their opinion. So thank you guys. If you want to check out any of the programs, just go to boatbuyerssecretweapon.com, and you can find the academy. You can find the best boat captain on the water training. You can get the free toolkit, and that's there for you. Thank you guys again, and we will see you next week. Take care, everybody.